It's just a delaying tactic, I suppose, until an injunction can be formed. It's also probably a violation of some federal laws.
A press release by the group, Facts to the Media, reads in part, "We will not sit passively by and watch the animals die as they are slaughtered simply for eating dinner. Direct actions will continue and escalate." As a result, there were no representatives of the National Marine Fisheries Service on hand today, and that's the agency authorizing the killings.
They have a concern about pre-notification of these kind of activities, I think from an employee safety standpoint.
The state has concluded the only way of preserving the steelhead run is to kill the few animals devouring steelhead near the lock's fish ladder. Shooting is an option, but it's one that won't be used.
We're not ever going to have a gun. When we're out here working, we'll only be using lethal injectables, I mean drugs, to do it. So we're not going to be using a firearm.
They say they're speaking for those who cannot speak for themselves.
The cruelest show on earth.
You see them outside the circus protesting the treatment of animals inside. You see them shouting at people wearing fur. That's all legal. But sometimes animal rights activists cross the line. Tonight in a King 5 special report, an interview with one man in prison for his war on the fur industry.
Did it ever cross your mind that some human being could be killed?
But nobody ever did, and that wasn't no coincidence.
They can be loud, they can be frightening.
They can also be effective and tug at our heartstrings. Animal rights activists say they're speaking for creatures who have no voice. But do they endanger human beings in the process? King 5's Scott Miller looks at that question tonight in his special series, Animal Rights, Human Wrongs. Scott is just one of the King 5 News investigators.
Fur is dead.
They spray paint expensive fur coats and march on department stores. They rescue lobsters from restaurants and return them to the ocean.
Come on, sweetie.
Outside the Japanese consulate in Seattle, they are saving whales.
Welcome to the cruelest show on earth.
Outside the circus at the Tacoma Dome, they are saving elephants.
You're ashamed of that bloody thing. I don't care who you play football for.
Most recently, we found animal rights activists yelling at people with fur coats outside the opera Cinderella. Are you afraid to wear fur here?
Yes, because one time they harassed me so bad I couldn't walk across. I don't think that's fair.
If they fear us, so be it. They have nothing to be afraid of except the humiliation that we try to impart here.
Shame on you.
Activists call this shaming. It is loud and obnoxious enough to send fur-clad opera fans scurrying in a side door. It is also perfectly legal. Sometimes animal rights activists do cross the line and break the law. We came here to this federal prison in Tucson, Arizona, to talk with one of the few who got caught.
I have no regrets in what I've done.
Rodney Coronado has plenty of time for reflection. He's serving a 4-year, 9-month sentence for waging war on the fur industry as part of a group called the Animal Liberation Front. It's a war that caused $2 million worth of damages in Oregon at a university mink farm.
It's just wanton destruction, really.
In Michigan at a mink research lab. And in Washington at a mink feed warehouse in Edmonds, which was gutted by fire in June of 1991. It was a 9-month-long campaign of arson and destruction, a crime wave captured on videotape by the criminals themselves.
I knew that what I was doing was viewed by most people to be nothing more than illegal criminal activity. But for me, I knew that in time, whether it be 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, people were going to look back and say, God, thank God for people that were willing to break the law to protect the environment.
Did it ever cross your mind that some human being could be killed?
But nobody ever did. There's been over 300 ALF actions in the last 10 years in the United States, but yet not one individual has ever been hurt.
Is Rodney Coronado a dangerous guy, in your view?
Absolutely.
Bob Houston of the FBI.
Somebody that burns down buildings and plants bombs and incendiary devices is certainly a dangerous individual.
The FBI says such violent attacks have decreased now that Coronado is in jail. But just a few months ago, the vandals were back, setting free hundreds of mink at fur farms in Washington and British Columbia.
You can't stop a movement. You can't stop the way people are thinking. And most of all, you can't stop people who are going to be doing everything they can to try to protect the earth we all live on.
Including breaking the law.
Including breaking the law.
Well, Rodney Coronado pleaded guilty to aiding and abetting the Michigan arson, and he agreed to pay more than $2 million in damages for the other attacks in the Northwest. To this day, he claims he was just the messenger, the PR man, and that he never actually participated in the break-ins. The FBI disputes that, but concedes that Coronado worked with at least 2 other people, and those people were never caught.
Scott, there are mainstream animal rights supporters, too. What do they think of these acts?
Well, the people who belong to more mainstream groups that I talk to say they don't condone violence, but they really didn't condemn it either. In fact, the most common comment that I heard is that the violence committed by the Animal Liberation Front doesn't even compare to the violence committed against animals every day. That's how they look at it.
Boycott Macy's, fur is dead! 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 Give a little squirt, keep it going.